Hey guys, I want to talk a little bit about raid design today in Lost Ark. And I think a lot of the problems that exist within Lost Ark come from the raid designs of the game. And I want to elaborate a little bit on this. So I thought a little bit back to the beginning of Lost Ark when we first got our first Legion raids. We got Vicus, we got Vultan, right? And for those raids, I remember that a lot of the time when I was playing it, there would be no supports in the party because at the time there was a support shortage and people just wanted to get their raids done. But the thing is, it wasn't an impossible task to do them without a support. A lot of times we just have like a gun lancer instead of a support, right? And it's like, okay, well, we don't have yearning, unfortunately. We don't have the support to give us attack buffs, but you know what? We have this gun lancer and that's fine. So a lot of times we would just bring a gun lancer instead of a support. And some parties didn't even have that. Some parties just had no shields and you were just all DPS. And I was wondering, like, why was that the case that was okay back in the day? Of course, it wasn't ideal, but people still ran with it. Why was that okay back in the day? And nowadays, supports are completely required for these endgame raids. And I think a lot of that has to do with raid design. Now, as we've gotten further into the end game, as the raids have gotten more complicated, one of the things that changed the most is the amount of chip damage that you receive in these fights. I remember in Vultan, in Vicus, I would pride myself on not having to use a single pod in Vultan or not having to use a single pod in Vicus, even without a support. And that was because most of the things in those fights were telegraphed and avoidable, but also there wasn't as much chip damage. There wasn't a need to take damage to do certain mechanics, or have mechanics like, let's say a con, right, having those stacks on top of you that give you damage over time that you need somebody to A, cleanse, but 2, you be taking damage, so you need to heal from that as well. There wasn't as much of this meta in the raids where you were just getting hit by random things all the time, and you have the support there to give you the shields, give you the heals. Most of the things were avoidable and something you could just play with skill and not get hit. And I think that is where a lot of the problems with the game goes to. If you think about it this way, right? The support shortage, not having heals, not having shields, but also yearning, right? A lot of those pieces feel really bad because, I mean, of course, yearning, there is the piece of like attack speed and move speed just make your character feel good. But I think there's another part of it where it's like, you just end up feeling like, especially on spec classes, you just get hit by everything. And there's nothing you can do about it because your wind up is so long for your skills, and also you're moving slower, so you're getting hit by a lot of this chip damage. Now, if we didn't have this meta where all of the raids had a ton of chip damage, right? You just took hits randomly. I think that would be a good place for the game where it wouldn't be as required or necessary to have a support, and as a result the support shortage wouldn't be as felt or as significant to the game. Yes, of course you'd still prefer to play with yearning. Yes, of course you'd still love to have a support, but right now it really feels like you're really required to have a support in your party, and if you don't have one, you just might as well not do the raid, right? And again, this was not the case back in Vultan Vicus. We just go into those raids without supports, and it was fine. It was starting with things like Clown, where you had to take damage from meter. It was, things like that, where we started just getting into this place where bosses just did a ton of chip damage. And I don't know if that's the most healthy for the game. Personally, I think that if you're skilled enough at the game, right, you should be able to avoid most damage in the game. And I don't know, just a little bit of food for thought. Let me know what you guys think about in the comment section down below. Do you think that the game has evolved too much into this place where there's too much chip damage and that's why we need supports and why supports feel like completely necessary? Or do you disagree and don't think that that's the case at all? Of course, again, yearning, I think that's a different issue, a different problem. It's not really a support thing. It's more of like a set thing. But like the support class, right? Let me know down in the comment section below what you think. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, hit the sub button, ring the bell for notifications, and I'll see y'all on the next video. Oh yeah, also before that, actually, I stream on Twitch every night, 10 p.m. PST, also multi-stream on YouTube. Hopefully, I can see you guys there. Alright guys, I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace out.